Hey, what's up, everybody? Jeff Morse here. I am one of the pastors on the Vista campus, and I'm bringing you today's daily dose. We're talking about some of our favorite stories from the life of Jesus, and one of those for me is when Jesus walks on water. I think, growing up in Southern California, we're always around pools and the ocean and stuff, and so there's always this fascination with, can you walk on water? I remember being a kid and running across the pool deck and onto the pool, just seeing, hopefully we can make it a few steps, and of course, always sinking. So the fact that Jesus is able to defy the laws of gravity and water tension and all of that other stuff, it always blew my mind. So it's always one of my favorite stories to read, also because it was about this huge step of faith and everything that took place in it. And there were certain things that I didn't really catch when I first read through it, even when I first began to teach it, years ago as a pastor. And that one is that they're in a major storm, that Jesus is walking out to this boat on a major storm where the boat is being buffeted by the waves. And you have these disciples that are in the middle of a lake, in the middle of a storm, and they're probably just clinging, holding on for dear life. And they look out and they see a figure walking towards them on the waves, on the storm, and they begin to freak out. And it's in Matthew chapter 14, and it says, in verse 25, "Now shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. 'It's a ghost,' they cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, 'Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid.' 'Lord, if it's you,' Peter replied, 'tell me to come to you on the water.' 'Come,' Jesus said." Now, I want you to notice this. I want you to notice this. That Peter is the one who initiated him walking on water. Jesus didn't roll up and just say, "Hey, don't be afraid, it's me, Peter, come on." No, Peter said, "Lord, if it's you, let me come to you on the water." And then he stopped, and I'm sure he listened, and Jesus said, "Come." It just makes me think, and it makes me wonder, what is Jesus waiting for us to initiate in our lives? What great step of faith, what miracle, what next season of our life is Jesus just waiting for us to initiate, to call out to him and say, "Lord, if this is you, tell me to come." Now, with any big step of faith, especially one where you're going to step out of a boat and walk on a storm, it's really important that you know that Jesus is calling you out. It's really important. See, faith isn't stupid. Faith is maybe initiating something, but then listening to see what the Lord would say back. I don't know if it's you and you're wanting to start a new business. I don't know if it's you and you're wanting just to go deeper in your relationship with Christ, or maybe some of the situations that you're facing and you just want to initiate a great move of faith. Cry out, "Lord, if this is you, can I?" And then listen. And he says, "Come on." He says, "Come on." And so Peter had to then, once he heard Jesus say, yeah, he then had to take that great step of faith, or actually that great climb of faith, because he had to climb out and down. It says when Peter got down out of the boat, he walked on water and he came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. He said, "You have little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. See, as soon as Peter was out and he was walking on water, he was living this crazy life of faith in that moment, he took his eyes off of Jesus. And anytime we take our eyes off of Jesus, it's really easy for us to get focused on the storm and on the stuff of life and everything that's going on around us. And when that happens, we begin to sink. We trade our faith for fear. We trade our faith in the Son of God for fear in what this world has. So he begins to sink, but I love it because he cries out to Jesus again, and Jesus grabs him. And he picks him up, or maybe they walk back to the boat together, but either way, they get back in the boat, and everything works out. So I don't know, again, where you're at in life or what you're going through today, but I would just say a couple things maybe. What are you waiting for? What is the Lord waiting for you to initiate in your life of faith? And secondly, when you do take those major steps of faith because you've heard God say, "Come," make sure to always focus on him, because he is the one that's going to make everything come out all right. See ya.